Three, two, one, we good. Yo, what's going on, Brandon? How are we?
I am great. How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well. First of all, Happy New Year. We're recording this on Saturday, January 2nd. So
Yeah, New Year, finally.
2021, excited for it. Dude, we haven't caught up in a minute. So just
Yeah,
for all the viewers and the listeners out there, Brandon and I connected, God, was it like 3, maybe 4 years ago when I was
yeah,
still living in Chicago. You and your band were in Indiana, and we just played a couple shows together, and it was fun, man. We really enjoyed coming out there at the time. We really enjoyed coming out there. Obviously, it'll be a little bit more difficult for me to make that trip right now, and I
sure.
think both of our circumstances have somewhat changed since then in terms of music and projects and things like that. But it was a good time, man. It was a good time, and I'm glad we've stayed connected through it all.
Yo, absolutely.
So, what are we drinking this morning? I got my coffee, so I just want to
I have a medium
highlight that.
Colombian roast, the finest K cup.
Oh,
From
this is gonna be great, man. Because everybody that I have on here is probably gonna be a more uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like just higher quality coffee drinker than me and my Folgers instant coffee. So
yeah.
I'll learn something new from it. But yeah, man. So how have you been? A part of me wants to ask, how have you been in the last year with the pandemic and all that? But I wonder if that question seems too overbeaten, then feel free to skip right over it. And I feel like there's just a lot of other stuff that we can catch up on, regardless in terms of what you've been up to and what you're working on now.
No, I think that's a fine question. Uh, I personally have had a pretty good year. Uh,
Awesome.
Obviously, the pandemic is horrible,
Yeah.
but
I,
uh,
we should always, we'll always start with that, right? Like, this is
yeah,
not to be like insensitive to the definite hurt that is coming from there.
mhm,
But for me, I've just been trying to find any kind of silver lining that I can. So
yeah.
with that
No,
being said, would love to hear yours.
yeah, I've been fortunate. My day job has been steady. We didn't stop whatsoever. So
Hmm.
it hasn't been a financial burden whatsoever. If anything, it's helped because I've been home. I'm not eating out. I'm eating healthier. I'm saving money. Uh,
It's
and
crazy. It's crazy
yeah,
how that happens.
and I always knew that was a source of my money disappearing, but I haven't felt the impact until something forced me to change.
So
But
what are you doing cooking wise now? Have you learned to become like a top chef? Have you invested time in that, or are you just kind of still making the basics? I'm still making the basics, so nothing fancy fancy happened for me. But I'm just curious.
it's about the same. I've ventured out and tried some new dishes and stuff, but the consistency is there, and that's what's helped the most.
Yeah.
Just chicken and fish, and
Yeah.
steaks on the weekend, maybe.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's essentially just stir fry. So I can throw different things into the stir fry, but that's my
yeah.
go-to.
The beauty of the stir fry.
That's all it is. Cool, man. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm glad to hear that things have been well for you. Obviously, that hasn't been the case for most people. So it's been interesting to see how people have been able to thrive in the environment that has kind of we've been in for maybe like a year at this point. Not maybe us in the U.S. because lockdown didn't happen until March, but
Right.
this was definitely raging through the rest of the world around this time or starting around this time. So crazy to think that we've been in there, but glad to hear that. How about, like, what are you doing with all that extra time? Because that was a big thing for me too. Just getting extra time in my day, and I was just explaining to someone yesterday. I'm just like, even if it's just an extra hour of sleep that I'm getting,
Mhm.
like, that makes the quality of my day so much better, and therefore, like, the motivation, the productivity, everything that I have in my day goes so much further because of that.
Yeah, with my day job, which I'll keep private, but
That's fair.
it involves a lot of traveling. So
Oh, okay.
with lockdown, I have a set schedule. I started this time, I ended this time.
Hmm.
So I have all this definite time I know I have that I can play around with. So
Hmm.
that's been great. This amount is for family, this is for music, this is for,
Yeah, yeah.
activities. So it's been great. That's been my favorite part, just the consistency of it.
Cool, dude. Well, so a year ago you were traveling a lot for work then?
up until about March or April. I would say about two weeks every month or so, give or
Okay.
take. I would be
So,
in a hotel. So
I mean, the thing is, like, that's an incredible amount of time saving for
yeah.
you.
Mhm.
I was just thinking about like commutes where you get maybe an hour, 2 hours back in your day where you don't have to deal with getting ready, getting dressed, driving, dealing with traffic, but not having to travel, I'm sure has been interesting and been, I don't know. Have you enjoyed it or do you miss it?
No, I love staying home. So I have enjoyed it. It's kind of difficult to pack all your things up and take it to a hotel. I mean,
Oh yeah.
music is a laptop now, but
Yep.
some of these hotels are sketch, so I'm not taking a laptop. So uh,
You're not taking anything more than you need to.
yeah, so sometimes I was losing a week or two, every
Mhm.
month, or I couldn't do music, and now it's every day I can. So
That's a huge part of it. Yeah, not that I was ever traveling super like often. I mean, I was, but not in a sense where like I was doing it for work on a regular basis. But it was always funny because I would always try to like catch the inspiration while I was on a plane or in a hotel or something. And here's the thing: the beauty of it is that like sometimes it works really well, but at the end of the day, if you're just disciplined about showing up, it doesn't matter where you are, right? Like you can get stuff in. And I think I was just romanticizing the idea of like, oh man, 30,000 feet in the air, I'm gonna come up with an idea. Whereas instead,
yeah,
like I should just wake up and like set aside 30 minutes for it every day.
sure,
So so when music, then you're getting a chance to work on a lot more, and you and I went into it a little bit in terms of some of the different projects that you're involved with now. Obviously, we met while you were with Ocean Lux, so feel free to mention that or talk about that if you want. But wherever, I'm very curious to see now that we're talking rather than through text,
sure,
where things have been for you and where they're headed, or what your goals are, I guess, for 2021 and beyond.
sure. Yeah, like you said, we met while I was doing Ocean Lux. Um, Near the end of that, I think we were able to play one show together where we were a three piece. So
Mm-hmm.
we got Kyle to join as our drummer, and I actually went to high school with Kyle. Hadn't spoken to him since Kyle. He was 2 years after me. Um,
Yep.
and then just by chance, I saw him on Facebook and found out that we both moved to the same city. So I'm like, all right, well, we have to catch up. So he joined the band. We became a three piece, and you were able to play one of those shows. And then
Yep. I
shortly
remember.
after, yeah, shortly
That
after,
was a fun one, man.
yeah, having live drums is
Oh, it
so much
makes
better.
such a difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
So shortly after that, we started working on new music, and collectively, we just kind of decided to disband.
Hmm.
Daisy, our singer, uh, felt moved to move from
Hmm.
Elkhart to LA. So
We
we
were in LA together very briefly, and
really,
yeah, because she I don't know, she either reached out to me or I reached out to her because I think just on Instagram we saw that we were in LA, and it was just like, wait, you're here? Oh wait, you're here? And she's
yeah,
like, oh hey, like we should meet up sometime. And I think that was
yeah.
maybe like a month or two before lockdown. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So nothing happened, but there's a brief period of time where we were both in LA for the same time.
nice. So yeah, when she moved, we felt it best to not necessarily do the band at that
Yeah.
time. Uh, Realistically, we could, but I came from being in a band and playing shows and not recording music. So I want to
Hmm.
play live shows. So I'm like,
Yeah.
This isn't going to work." And it was a big move for her. So I'm like, "You take your time, figure things out." And at the
Yeah.
end of it, we decided to not do the band anymore. So since then, Kyle and I have still been working together.
Hmm.
We're doing this writing team production project. So we're trying to get with people, help them write music,
Nice. Okay.
as well as our own stuff.
Is that something that's like open to the public? Something you want to plug here?
Sure. We go by Riffs and Realms.
Rifts and Realms. Okay.
So,
And send me the stuff afterwards so I can throw it up in the
oh,
show notes
absolutely.
too.
So we have that going on. And then, yeah, during quarantine, I needed to make music. And I recently, had no band. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I need some sort of outlet. And I found myself spending a lot of time on Twitch.
Yep.
And
Which is I feel like where we've actually reconnected somewhat.
yeah, absolutely.
It's been nice.
And yeah, Twitch is great. And I was aware of what the rules of music are, the laws of music, and I saw a
Mhm.
lot of people breaking those. Not that I went in, I was trying to police people, but I'm like, there should be music that people, can use free.
Mhm.
Someone already beat me to that and made an empire out of it. But I'm
Mm.
like, there's no reason I can't do the same thing just
Yep.
on my own. Uh, so I decided to start writing music for Twitch just under the handle Brndnlx with.
Okay.
So that's what that gibberish is under my face. It's just Brndnlx without the vowels.
Without the vowels. Yep. Got it.
Uh, I probably need to change that because a lot of people think it means burned and they ignore the rest of the letters. Uh,
it's just so burned into my memory and like the branding of you
mhm.
that it's funny when you texted me or gave me your phone number. When I first put your name in, I put it as Brndnlx. And then I was like, no, this is not his last name. And I had to find you
Yeah.
on like because we connected on Facebook a while back. I was like, I need to find his name because like this will throw me off. Actually, it probably won't. Seeing your full name on my phone will be like, wait a second, is that the one? Okay. But
Yeah, I had a conversation with a friend. I'm like, I don't have any ideas of some new name I can just kind of make up. I'm like, I made Brndnlx because of the band. I
yeah,
think I'll just keep it. Uh,
I think you should, man. Just
yeah,
continue with it.
I actually did some research, and I'm a huge fan of pro wrestling, and
Nice.
I found out that CM Punk had the same situation. CM was his tag team. They were the Chick Magnets.
Ah,
And
okay.
when he went solo, he just kept the CM, and then
CM Punk.
he didn't tell anyone like what it meant.
Hmm.
Like he would joke and say it's C Montgomery Burns, just and he wouldn't tell people. So I'm like, hey, I'll just keep this. Like if people ask, it's a cool story. Maybe I can plug old music, but
Yeah, no, I mean, unless there was anything you like didn't want to associate yourself with, which as a fan of Ocean Lux and the music that you guys are putting out, I think is still still great and would why wouldn't you want people to still go check it
sure,
out, right? Why not?
right?
It's funny because I have music under my solo name before starting AfterSound, and it's like not necessarily that I'm hiding it. It's just if somebody asks, then it's there, but I don't have something necessarily like in my handle the way that you guys have, and the music isn't as good as like what I'm doing now. Whereas like I like the music that you guys were releasing is Ocean Lux. I'm a big fan of. So guys, make sure you check that out.
Thank you. Yeah, there are plenty of bands that I definitely have wiped from the internet because I don't want people finding that I made that music. So
It was all experimental, right? It was all just to get you to where you are right now.
yeah, it was a test.
It was a test. So aside from the rifts and realms, what else have you been working on, or what are you trying to get work towards?
uh, I'm doing the Brndnlx thing, so I'm writing
Hmm.
music specifically for content creators.
Okay.
Uh, Obviously, it costs money to release music, so I
Hmm.
go through the proper channels. I own it. I do the distribution, but I'm just giving it away for free.
If you don't mind me asking, and feel free to leave out sensitive details if needed, but like how does that work? Where you're trying to create stuff specifically for Twitch or specifically for content creators to be able to use? Is there like a website or a service or something that you work with? And you don't have to name it. I'm just curious. Like that's a whole different avenue within music, which is fascinating to me because it's just I know nothing about it. I know very little about it, so I'm just curious how that works.
I mean, it's not different than music I've released in the past.
Hmm.
I did work with a lawyer. I hired an entertainment lawyer to
Oh,
write a
nice.
specific contract that states all the music I put in this folder is free for people to use. And I won't backpedal and say, you can't use it anymore or I'll
Okay.
sue you. So it's just part of my Brndnlx link tree. You can, there's a link
Okay.
to, there's a link to folders of music you can use. And there's also the link to the agreement. So if anything were to happen legally, you have a contract that says you have the right to use this music.
And you're just giving this away for free?
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
I'm sending it to distributors so people can just stream it on Spotify.
Hmm.
Ideally, not ideal. Yeah, ideally, realistically, most people are just going to stream it. Why would you
Yeah.
want to download music just to play? So
Hmm.
that's what I'm banking on. So I get paid on
Gotcha.
streams.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah,
What if people do download it and then use it as like a backdrop to a video or something like that?
they are welcome to.
They're welcome to. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
the nice thing, and I'm not saying that this is your angle by any means, but obviously when somebody streams it, like there's a financial benefit for you, right? So at least you're getting kickback. But is there anything within the agreement where it's just like, make sure you get credited, or like how did like, or are you just, is this one of the most generous things I've ever seen, where you're just trying to put the music out there and give people an opportunity? Because I think that it's awesome regardless, but I'm just trying to look out for you, Brandon, see what are different ways to help monetize it.
I don't believe that is in the agreement. So I think you can use it without referencing me. Obviously, it's
Mhm.
appreciated.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if I
Hold
hear
on. Do you have a way to accept tips and donations? You should set that up.
that is a great idea, I will have to do that.
Just in case. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
even like just like make a Venmo or a Cash App or something like that. People, I've come across some really generous people, so you never know. And the fact that you're doing something that is very much for other people to benefit from, like, and I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. I really just am getting excited about you setting something up, because I think this is an awesome thing, and I would love to plug it and tell more people about it, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people that come to me asking me if they can use like my music for whatever, like video or something. And I'm not as organized as you, but it's the same sentiment, where it's just like, yeah, man, feel free. Like, I would just appreciate if you could credit the music, so if people like it, they know where to check it out. But whenever those people come around, I want to be able to like send them your stuff as well. And you never know if someone might got a couple of extra bucks to buy you coffee because they appreciate that you helped put their video together.
I am jotting that down right now. So that is a great idea that I just overlooked.
Hey man, it's just out there. But
Yeah.
you never know.
So I mean, when I hear music that I like or want to know more about, I just
Mhm.
Shazam it. And I think that's kind of the same sentiment. You can Shazam all my music and find me. So
Okay, cool. Is that so is this all under the Brndnlx brand then?
yes,
Okay,
it is.
cool.
So yeah, I had that agreement out there, and then recently I just started streaming on Twitch, me writing the music that I'm giving away for free, because I've wanted to do Twitch for a while, but at the same time, you kind of have to keep your music out of the public eye until you own it,
And
or until it's perfect, you know,
yeah.
so people can't swoop in and steal it. But I'm giving this away for free anyway, so might as well
So
see it
yeah,
out.
mine
So
as well.
that was my great excuse. The Twitch and the free music was an excuse for the other one. Like, I'm writing free music, I'll stream it. I want to
Mhm.
stream, I'll give, so
Free music. Okay. So for Twitch, because maybe we can talk about that, because I feel like you've actually helped me out quite a bit. My whole journey with Twitch started a couple years ago, but then I fell way off because I wasn't really able to figure out what my strategy was with it, or what I wanted to do with it. Is your main focus? I know you spend a lot of time as a viewer checking out different channels and things like that. When you stream, is it primarily just when you're writing, or are you focused on other things? Do you ever do gaming or stuff like that?
right now it's just writing specifically. I just started last week, so
Mm-hmm.
um, no, it's music right now. I might look to do games later, but that's not really a priority.
Yeah.
And, and I'm not looking to be a full-time streamer. Um, I am in talks with specific streamers to write music for them,
Oh, cool.
more more in the role playing aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So they create a campaign, I write music for it. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's part of the Rifts and Realms. I
Yeah,
plan
yeah.
towards that so they can see the discography of work that I've done.
Gotcha. Okay. Is the Rifts and Realms stuff up anywhere as well?
Yeah, it should be riftsandrealms.com.
Riftsandrealms.com. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's make use of the Rifts and Realms. Riftsandrealms.com. All right, we're gonna see if we can use this fancy software to show people a little preview of the thing here. Is that coming through? Did it
Yes.
open?
Yep, I can see it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
the top's still loading, but yeah, there's the first 4 Brndnlx albums, and
Mm-hmm.
then my band After Oceanlux, Brightly Wild, we released a single. So right now it's just showcasing music that we have on our
Projects.
discography.
Gotcha. Okay. So can you go into a little bit, or if you want, can you go into a little bit more detail about Rifts and Realms and how people could get involved if they wanted to?
Yeah, it's like I said, Kyle and I are working on it. We've known each other 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he went to school specifically for recording music, and I've been doing bands. Like the moment I graduated, I've been doing bands.
Yeah.
So we just came together and we're writing music, just trying to get out there if anyone has music they need written for them or they
Mm-hmm.
want us to help co-write or record.
Gotcha.
We're on
Okay.
board, and there's a contact form that people can use.
Do you guys stay within a specific genre or genres that you prefer, or is it like anybody can come to you and work with you from a writing and production standpoint?
I don't think anything's off limits. If there is, we have not encountered it yet. Uh, I,
Yeah.
I'm scared the day we run across something we don't know how to do. And the day we do, it might be the day we need to learn how to do it. So
It's a good approach to have. Yep.
yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. We were talking about this, I think, just briefly in the past because it was one of those things where, like, you know, I obviously admire very much, you know, the work that you put out as a producer and knowing the role that you played in Brndnlx and some of the other projects and stuff that I've heard from you. Sorry, in Oceanlux, and then obviously your own personal stuff. But you know, I think my question for you a while back, and you know, was did you want to go that producer route where you start working with vocalists or things like that? And it was interesting because you gave me some very valid, very valid hurdles that have come up that I've actually faced myself, because for a while I thought that's what I wanted AfterSound to be too, where I would like just do more production and get other people to sing and find vocalists and collaborators. But you know, the hurdles being just finding people who consistently can be there and deliver a level of quality that matches, you know. But has that thought ever crossed your mind in terms of like where you're going in the future or something you'd like to get to?
You know, since Oceanlux, we were a band for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy would frequently refer to me as a producer, and I hated it. I never wanted to be a music producer.
Okay.
No, I just want to play. I want to be in a band because I came from like, you know, rock and punk and
Yep.
emo bands. So I'm like, no, I just want to be in a band. And now I'm sitting here. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much a producer more than anything else at this point. So
well, I didn't mean to say it in any kind of demeaning way, so I apologize if it came off off like that.
No, I've come to terms with that is what I am. But no, yeah, that's definitely my role now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more than ever with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am a producer at this point. I just need to work on my networking, find some talent with, because singing is not something I bring to the table.
Have you ever tried? Did you ever do any backing vocals on your stuff?
I have appeared, but we've turned it down as low as you can get. So
it's like I'm just there for the low end frequencies. That's it.
Yeah,
I get that, man. It's funny that you bring that up though, because it's like I totally get where you're coming from. You know, for the longest time after going solo, I like the whole reason for starting AfterSound was to start a band, right? And it was initially like a project with myself and my cousin, who was a little bit older in a different place in life at the time. So obviously, when we did a little writing and played a couple shows together, but then obviously Shap, who you knew, was the main drummer for the band, and the idea was always like, you know, my inspiration was when I first started writing music was One Republic and Ryan Tedder. I'm just like, okay, like this is like his band, like he is the identity of this band, but it's always so much more fun to do it with like a group of people and to be part of like this ensemble. Yeah. So that was my thinking, you know, in the past, and wanting to do more of that. And then this is not a reflection on Shap, who is a member, or for you, but it's just like I think one of the struggles that I think a lot of people go through with bands is like it's not only just about creating awesome music, it's about just getting everybody on the same page
Mhm.
and having like the same kind of goals. So I don't know. It just dawned on me, and I don't mean to say this in like a pessimistic context. It's more I'm just trying to be realistic with it and just say like the bands that you see that are super successful out there, I feel like they found a way to strike gold, right? Like a lot of the stars aligned for them, where it's just like they not only had great music, great writing, great production, but they just also had a solid core of people who were on the same trajectory in their lives or
Mhm.
willing to be on the same trajectory in their lives at the same time. And it's funny because like all the bands that I've been in, um, with AfterSound and outside of AfterSound, it's always like just finding the people has finding the people who are on that kind of same trajectory as me has always been tough. And I say that with the utmost respect, right? Because like I understand that I'm at a certain place in my life, and the people that I've worked with are at different places, and it's hard to necessarily get the same buy-in when people are at different places, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So that's what helped me get towards the kind of the solo thing, or the solo transition that I've been riding for the last year or 2 years with AfterSound, which is kind of like not that I was like suggesting it to you, but it was or saying that you should do it. It was just one of those things, like a realization that I had, and was just kind of offering as my experience to you. Where it's like sometimes it's tough to find people. So if you could find a way to make it work on your own, and then um, in a way hire the musicians that you need to play the shows that you want, right? Like my focus recently has become very much like write, record, put out as much music as I can. I love playing live shows, but I was almost helped by the pandemic because I like set this arbitrary thing in my mind where it's just like I just want to focus on writing, recording, marketing, and pushing the music out there, building a fan base that I can go play the shows for. Right.
Mhm.
And then once that's there, even if it's just a small but hopefully dedicated hardcore group, then I will figure out how to go and play shows for them. And at that point, that's when I'll find the band members. And even if it's a matter of like paying them, or hiring session or live musicians, I'll do that, because it's like it allows me to continue moving forward without the reliance on other people. And I
Yeah.
know that I'm like a control freak in many ways, but it's it's worked for me, or it has been working for me in a sense. And obviously the pandemic allowed me to focus on writing even more, because live, trying to get itching to get back to live music was not something that I was even an option. So therefore it's like double down on the writing, double down on the producing, and double down on just releasing music. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just it's been fun, and I hope that you can find a way to like live that ideal dream of the band,
Sure.
um when things open back up, because dude, live music is just so much fun. I miss
It
it.
it is. And no, I share that those same beliefs you do. Uh I think most of my music career it's has been me figuring out how to be more persuasive to get things to sound the way I want them
Hmm.
rather than be open to what other people want. Uh
That's fair.
yeah, I'm in the same boat. And it wasn't until, chain smokers got huge where before that I'm like, I need one person to sing all of this so it sounds the same.
Hmm.
And now you look at the chain smokers like, no, that's not the case. And people will still, you know,
Yeah.
stay loyal to the band even if the vocalist is different. So
Hmm. They really did popularize that.
yeah.
I think they were the biggest band. I mean, because now you see it all over the place, where it's just like I'll see a new producer slash band. I'm just like, wait, like, is this the producer or the vocalist? Right? Like, I don't know. But I feel like platforms like Spotify have done a really good job in terms of like listening all of the collaborators that are involved in a track. So the industry has definitely shifted towards being a little bit more friendly with identifying all the different people that are involved in a certain track, and then being able to like go down the rabbit hole of their music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, um, yeah, no. So, sorry, I feel like I cut you off when you brought up the whole chain smokers thing?
No, I agree. Uh where the interchanging people would be the
Hmm.
vocalist, uh, in my scenario,
Hmm.
whereas yours would be the instrumentalists.
Yep, that's true. The vocalist is a tough one. So I can appreciate the perspective that you have, or where you're coming from, because you obviously have a literary voice, right? Like a message that you're trying to get out, and it's just like you want someone to be able to deliver it in a way that's um in a way that's conductive with like you and like
Mhm.
the vibe that you're going for.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely. If it doesn't benefit both of us, then I don't see a point in pursuing it.
does
So
Kyle sing? You should get him to start singing.
he does on his own stuff. I don't think being a vocalist is what he wants to do.
Yeah,
I think he's
that's
doing
fair.
it out of necessity
Hmm.
rather than desire.
That's fair. Well, I mean, if you're looking for vocalists, I'll try to send the horde on to you guys. If you want to sing on Brandon's stuff, go check out his music.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I have like 5 followers, so you know how it goes. maybe one of them sings.
Yeah.
Um, no, man, I think it's a lot of fun. I feel like especially now is the time to be doing all that like networking and collaborating. Like, I was this started for me before the pandemic, where most of the people that I've collaborated with have been like I've never even talked to them on the phone. It's just been through like
Mm.
Instagram or through social media or email. So now the world's in a place where I feel like it's not just like a cool feature, but it's also a necessity. It's not just like, oh, like before I was like, oh man, yeah, I work with this producer from India or this singer from whatever place or whatever country or city, and now it's just like, no, that's just the norm now. We're like,
Yeah.
you got to connect with these folks, and then like everybody does their thing separately, and you make it happen.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, dude. I don't know where things go from here. But what are you most excited for in terms of music, in terms of what you're working on for the coming year or coming couple of years?
Just seeing where Brndnlx goes.
Mhm,
I mean, let's be honest, it's background music. There's not a whole lot going on.
mhm.
If I can get a catchy melody and just beat that to death, then hey, it's a success.
Yeah.
Um, and everything just kind of happened like in the summer, of the
Mhm.
pandemic. I'm like, I should write music. So in 1 month, I wrote 4 albums,
Oh wow.
and then I'm like, I need to release it. So then I just released it as soon as I wrote it.
All
Uh,
instrumental.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then at the end of this year or last year, I was looking at my music and I did 4 albums of 10 songs with
Mhm.
Brndnlx, like, and then released 2 singles with Brightly Wild. I'm like, 42. I should write 8 more songs to make it 50. And then I'm like, I could just stop and maybe I can just do better next year. So I started writing like the next group of music
That you
for
would release.
Brndnlx. So I'm about, a third of the way through, but the
Hmm.
plan is 53 songs for 2021.
Any specific reason for, or any any significance for 53?
We get 53 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, it'd be great to release one a week. And then I looked at the logistics of it, and it's just a nightmare with the cost to release that many
Yeah,
songs.
you should. Well, okay, we've talked about this before, and we don't need to dive into anything that's super sensitive, but um, you know, a platform like not CD Baby, but DistroKid, for example,
Hmm.
like you can release as much as you want on there for like
Yeah.
the flat fee. So, that's one of the features. And hey, DistroKid, this is a free plug for you guys, but feel free to sponsor in the future. I use DistroKid for some of my music releases. So
Hmm.
just putting disclosure there. I don't have any stock in the company,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate the fact that they have a business model that rivals what not rivals, but it's just like it's a different business model than what we've seen from
Hmm.
other places. So one of those features being that for a flat fee you can release as much music, and therefore the incremental cost of releasing new music becomes minimal or zero at best.
Yeah.
So that might be something to look forward if or look through if you're trying to get to that release schedule, because there's something about like the anticipation of like putting stuff out prolifically, and especially if you have like a catalog of 53 songs that you're trying to put out, and something that people will tune back into every week, I think could be really valuable. For me, like, just consistency is twofold. The most important thing that I understand it to be, and at the same time, like, very difficult to do. And I've only been able to like be consistent in these last couple of months and try to really build upon that. But I do find that, like, if you're able to put stuff out more regularly on that kind of 53-week schedule, there's definitely benefit to that, of people liking the music and then returning often to check it out.
Yeah. And now that we're talking about it, the name of the artist has left my head, but there is an artist who does do that. And I think it was 2 or 3 years worth of work before they got a real big hit.
Was it Russ?
Yes.
Russ, yeah, Russ. Everybody knows Russ for doing it. I think there's a couple of other artists that have done it, but Russ is the one that he might have done it first and everybody knows about. And the thing is, like, he's good, right? Like, he was like putting out stuff that wasn't like mediocre. So he was putting out, well, I'm sure in his mind he'll probably look back and be like, I cut a couple corners on this track, whatever the case is. But we're all our own worst critic. But yeah, no, it's a strategy that I've toyed with, but I'm just like, I don't think that I could write that fast. I don't think that I could, like, right now my commitment is doing every 4 weeks. And then obviously doing the covers, because the covers are a lot easier. And I think we've talked about how that's become somewhat of a streamlined process for me, where it's just like, it's more about just getting the content out to people regularly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Russ definitely, I mean, I don't know how many millions of monthly listeners he has now, or tens of millions of monthly listeners, but it definitely worked out well for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there anything stopping you then, aside from the cost, if you were able to mitigate that?
I'm sure there's a way to go about it, but to streamline it and do it as quickly as possible, I believe all the songs would appear as singles. And I don't want to be the artist with 53 singles and 4 albums, which, I mean, that sounds great. I'd rather release it as like some sort of group. So that's what I've settled on.
Okay. What some artists do, like, after you release, X amount of songs, you could re-release them as a package or as an album, and then take down the singles. And as long as you have is it the ISRC codes?
Yeah.
Like you won't lose any playlist placement. You won't lose any play counts or things like that. So excuse me. So just being, completely transparent with what I'm thinking about, rather than what has fully formed for me. So anybody listening to this, don't necessarily hold me to it, but this is kind of what I'm considering as a tentative strategy, is like to put out an EP that is primarily going to be single driven. And then maybe just release, 1 or 2, two songs on the last, like, full project, and then include everything else on it and take down all of the other tracks. Because I agree, right? Like, there's a certain, like, you want your discography to look somewhat neat rather than having all that. So
yeah. And so, yeah, those are just a couple of excuses that I had in my head to stop me from doing it.
We're gonna wipe them all out, man. This is what the podcast is for. Wipe out the excuses.
So those are the excuses that I was working with, and then I got the music ready, and it was like, oh, well, you need 2 weeks, and it was like the 4th week of December. So I'm like, well, crap. So
yeah,
I went ahead and scheduled it. So January 15th, you're getting 13 new Brndnlx songs.
Oh, snap! All right, cool. Well, there we go. I was looking for a fun way to wrap this up. So you gave us a little preview. What's coming out January 15th? Is it this will be the first of a couple of albums this year? Because it sounds like you're working on 53 songs. So is that four albums we can expect from you?
Yes, absolutely.
Or have you not figured out the denominations of how you're going to break it out?
Eventually, like at the end, it gets a little muddy. But first album is January 15th, so that'll be 13 new songs.
Okay.
So with the 4 I released in 2020, those were just lo-fi tracks, and I kind of beat that formula to death with those songs.
Yeah.
So now I'm working with a new formula, not so lo-fi, just a little more
Mm-hmm.
um, upbeat, kind of chill, synthy stuff. So some of it might sound a little bit more like Oceanlux minus the vocals.
Minus the vocals. Okay. Well,
So
those are always fun to listen to, regardless. So, how,
so yeah,
how long does it take you to complete a track?
I've been doing it on Twitch, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never formally timed myself or paid attention. But on Twitch, it looks like from start to finish, it's about an hour and a half per
That,
song.
that's awesome.
So
That's an hour and a half per week of work.
yeah,
If you're putting it out, at that volume or like consistency.
so
So
that's about where I'm at right now. Obviously, you know, art can get better to a certain degree.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
I'll either get faster or they'll start taking longer. Uh,
And hopefully be more aligned with where you're trying to go to with your own music in a sense.
yeah.
Cool, man.
So there should be 4 albums this year. I don't know how I'm going to space them out.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say I'm a third to a halfway done with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're ready for January 15th, we could probably just expect this on the first quarter of every month, right? April, July,
That might,
September,
yeah,
October. I'm sorry if I'm giving away your release strategy, but I'm just doing basic math is all.
yeah.
Uh, awesome, dude. Well, I'm excited to hear it. This has been fun, man. I hope we get if you're welcome back anytime. We can always chat more, especially when you got the other albums coming up. But appreciate you being on here. And is there anything else? I think you went through the Rifts and Realms. We talked about the album you got coming out. Where can people connect with you, or that you prefer for people to connect with you?
Probably Instagram or Twitter. I don't really do much on either, but that's the easiest way.
Easy way to get in touch. And is it the same username on Twitter as well?
Yes.
Brndnlx. Okay, cool, man. Anything else you want to share?
My band that replaced Oceanlux. So it's
Oh yeah,
basically
Brightly Wild, right?
yeah, it's
Okay.
Oceanlux, different singer. Um, um, we have music coming out this year. So uh, in 2020 we started releasing music, and we got 2 singles out, and the pandemic hit. So we're like, well, we'll just hold
Yeah.
on to these. So we have at least 3 more before we start releasing a new style of music that we're working on.
How often are you going to be releasing music with Brightly Wild? Is there a plan for that, or is it just?
There's no plan set formally, but it will come out this year.
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to overlook Brightly Wild. I don't mean to rush you through it. If you want to chat more about it, we can.
No, it just with Oceanlux we were playing shows, and we played a show in Indianapolis at the Hoosier Dome.
You talking
And
about Brightly Wild? You mean?
Oceanlux.
Oh, with Oceanlux. Okay.
Yeah, we played at the Hoosier Dome in Indy, and the person that runs it, Andrea, she's like, "Oh, I do pop music." So I'm like, "Oh, cool." So I kept asking her about it, and she just kept blowing me off. And then finally, Oceanlux, kind of just disbanded, and I mentioned it to some of her friends. I'm like, "Hey, what's Andrea doing with music?" And I just kept bugging her and her friends. And finally, she's like, "Oh, hey, do you want to work on music?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she sent me her music, and I just wrote it all in a weekend.
Nice. Okay. She
So
said, what did she send you? Was it primarily lyrics? Was there melody? Or were
the
these songs already? Like
There were
fully.
songs already. It was her, I think it was a voice memo, maybe a little
Okay.
bit of demo, but it was her singing to her playing just everything on a Korg, like a
Gotcha. Okay.
microKORG.
Yep. Okay.
So,
So that's why you were mentioning the voice memo, that you're very good with voice memos to me, huh?
yeah,
The other day on stream.
yeah.
Um,
So,
cool, man. Well, I mean, I know we've been talking about potentially trying to work on something together too. So I apologize. I was not able to record that voice memo, even though I sold it as being so much easier. So I'll get to it. I think I think I just need to figure out which track I'm trying to
sure.
focus on next, or what where I'm trying to go from here. So
Yeah, that sounds great, man.
cool, man. But it sounds like with Rifts and Realms, Brightly Wild, and Brndnlx, what are the chances that you get over 100 total songs released this year?
Whew.
I know it's a lot for Rifts and Realms. I see
Yeah.
Rifts and Realms is the only X factor here, right? Because I don't know what the release schedule, or how that works there. If it's obviously more demand based, right? If people come through.
Sure.
But you got 53 plus 3, so you're at 60 already. Or 56. Sorry, I'm a math guy, man. So I'm in my mind, I'm just like, all right, he's got 44 songs left to do. I'll give him one, so we'll make it 43.
Yeah. So yeah, 53 is the bar to hit.
Yeah.
But if I go above that, that'll be great. But we'll see. I mean, right now, Rifts and Realms is just a combined discography for Kyle and I.
Yeah.
So we can really solidify some work with people.
Gotcha.
So we'll
cool,
see.
Man. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you being on. You're the first guest of this new coffee themed podcast for me. So I appreciate it, and wish you best of luck this year, man. We'll definitely keep in touch, and whenever you got something in the future, let me know, and we can hop on here and give it a shout out and show it some love.
Sounds great, and be sure to check out the new AfterSound song that you dropped.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been trying to start the year off right. I can't. There's no way in hell I'll get to 53 songs, but I'm trying my best for 13. If I can do it every 4 weeks, I can hit 13. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that sounds great. If I had vocals in mind, there's no way I'd get half as many. So that's my shortcut.
That's the limiting factor for me, is writing lyrics has been tough. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say it's been tough. It's just that's where I feel like I tend to get into a lot of my own ruts. So
sure.
We'll see, but hopefully collaborations help get me out of those and open my mind to new things.
Yeah.
But all right, dude. Well, I appreciate it. Best of luck. And we'll keep in touch, guys. Make sure you check out the album coming out January 15th. Is there a name for the album?
I don't think Faction 1.
Faction 1. January 15th by Brndnlx. No syllables.
Yes.
What's that? Oh, sorry. No vowels. No vowels. Oh my gosh. I told you. I'm a math guy. I'm not an English guy. I'm a math guy.
No. Consonant only.
No syllables. Wow. All right. What a way to end this. All right, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, later.